already been tossed out as well onto Sandwich, trying to fake out a potential A hit, but they're actually going to be following in behind this, already spilling outside towards E-Box, where Rain is putting them down with a bit of pain. Twists on top of that, showing just why he's one of those most exciting prospects from NA. Missing a few shots there does afford them the luxury of going for a post plant, and Karrigan's trying to get...
We'll have to see how it plays out, as ENCE, again, definitely have enough to be dangerous in this round. So they're looking to maybe get a pick towards outside Dotto on the scout.
Nice shot from Twist, though. Up close in the bot dog. Sprays down Alu, tries to transition into another couple, does significant damage, and Spinks will be finished off. The only ENCE member, though, that has struck thus far. Although Karrigan is low, they're going to try and hold on to both of their Galils. Dotto's also feeling worse for wear as well here, though, Dust, but Snappy has at least came back in and puts the Latvian down.
Yeah, indeed he does, but they still have an uphill climb considering the health that they have and considering coldzera's positioning here, already pushing through the brown halls, already very near T-spawn, might catch ENCE in the back here as they try to transition towards Ivy, and even if he misses the timing, Karrigan should be right there, and I think Cole will spot them. Indeed he does. He'll tap away at the FAMAS, doesn't actually land the mark, so they know that they're being flanked, but Cole does still have them boxed in at the very least and has the information on where they're positioned, knows if they will fall back. Actually decides just to get with his team. Not a bad call. You don't want to get singled out and get them away back into the round. So he will just come over with the squad. Limited time. And at this point, I'm not sure what they're going to do. They may even want to hold on to the Galils, to be 100% honest with you. I mean, they're so low on health. They're found out. And it's really hard to see them break through at this point.
Feels like a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation. Snappy is going to go for that peak, though. Seems like they do want to end this round with some more bloodshed and carnage, and Snappy, well, he'll reap the rewards of their aggression. Dotto's also dipped in, and suddenly it's a 1-on-2. coldzera, with it all to do by himself, the smoke will afford to save Blunt with 6 seconds up until the last few moments. And now, with Desert Eagles, they'll have to try and avenge that disappointing round. Rain and Twists come through with snappy 1 deeks. And now ENCE, they're struggling. They're submerged. Spinks is going to try and give them a couple more breaths of oxygen. But now, with the smokes clearing, Dotto's got to do a lot of work with this MAC-10. He's been tagged down, he's been weakened, and now Rain goes in for the peak, but Dotto takes his head off.
Yeah, that kill kind of alleviates all the pressure they were feeling. And also the bomb's not committed yet. They could still pivot it if they feel they need to. Dotto, with the expendable MAC-10, is able to try to keep getting information in space, see if he can build a safety net for a team to come in and plant the bomb. But unfortunately for him, he's been traded 2 for 1. That leaves Spinks alone. Yes, he does have the AK and the head armor and a decent amount of health and time on the clock. He'll be able to pivot over to enter, and he will very likely get this bomb plant. But this is now going to be a tough ask because these CTs can pick up some weapons if they so choose to explore that outer yard, and they can rotate together in a 2v1 and actually have a chance to reel this one back in despite ENCE's advantages coming into the round firepower.
Got a bit nervous there, though, because FaZe did peek out 1 by 1 as opposed to clumping together, as you said, and picking up their weapons. Maybe a little bit cognizant of the lack of kit, and now ENCE have the opportunity with Spinks to rummage together a rotation and take another avenue to defend the site. He's actually just stuck on the site itself, up close. This is where the glow should shine, but a lot of time has already ticked away. They need to get on the site, and in doing so, in amongst all this chaos, maybe Spinks can clutch it. There's the first spray down, needs to get the second. The full diffuser's coming through, runs out of ammunition, switches to the block. He's missing everything. Pull the knife out, man!
From FaZe to get up close on ladder.
4 players kicking the round off on A. Understandable, a lot of the aggression that ENCE have shown has been via A main and also Ivy, but now that they've got the weapons, they are going to be slowing down the pace. Only 3 smokes left, and not many flashes either, Dust. They are lacking on utility.
Sure, but the other side of the coin, Vince, is now that FaZe won a clean round, they have the money to have utility to slow down fast pushes with the smokes and incendiaries, which is forcing ENCE to play a little bit more careful. But they are still trying to explode in this inner yard, and they're actually making some progress. And now Dhow is on pretty big flank in the back halls. This could get dangerous.
That's a dirty little off angle with the smoke as well, and Dhow is flanking Brokey, who's finally got an open, takes him down. It looked like Dhow was about to rip this round open and close it off the FaZe, but instead, FaZe stand tall, and it's that man Karrigan again with yet another multi-frag round. For me, though, that has to come down to Brokey. That shot he FaZe did going for a force. It forces away some of those smokes and incendiaries.
Right.
The downside, though, Dust, is if they take too long, you can actually play into these double ups. You can play into this AK.
But there's no utility left for FaZe, by the way, for a hold or a retake at this point. So ENCE have done well to drain FaZe of virtually all their resources for the weapons that they have. Cold trying to get aggressive inner halls is going to be caught. It's a great pickup from Dado, but now you need to get a move on if you're ENCE, and they're doing just that.
Karrigan, though, bit of a different angle. The back train, Rain and Twists have both put down frags. And with 23 seconds, now the pressure is swarming. They need some big picks, and Alu's going to come in with one. Pop Dog is held onto. Position has been given away to his adversaries, and they will...
For those decisions, as now we're seeing FaZe get mega aggressive. They put some heavy utility through Ivy lane, allowing Karrigan to, again, hold this aggressive angle and slow down that position. In the meantime, Twist has also found a pick towards Olaf. So FaZe are, again, playing that very constricting forward angle style of defense. Oh my, it just gets worse with that. And oh, he can't even be traded by Dado. That is pivotal for FaZe that Cold's done that.
Great news across the board on the CTs. Diha has to try and dig them out this ditch, but Karrigan just shovels a couple more loads. And now ENCE, well, they're down to Alu 1-on-4, 1-on-5, pardon me.
Yeah.
coldzera is still very much alive and kicking.
Loads of what was he shoveling on them, Vince? I have to know.
Soil.
Soil? Okay.
Yep. Burying him deep, Dust.
Deep.
This is a rough one, though, for Alu. I mean, you basically have to hold on to the AWP for 45 seconds. Maybe they can treat it as like a mini tactical timeout, but the options are pretty scarce at this point. And if he does end up getting hunted down, they're going to have very little for the next round.
Yeah, I'm curious how much they're going to expend to hunt him down. I mean, the money is pretty low for FaZe to rebuy, so expending too much would be maybe risky. But also, you know that if you do get this op out of Alu's hands, they have nothing to work with in the next round. And that reward might just be too tantalizing to pass up, as you can see that Karrigan is indeed, you know, going hunting a little bit here. So it does seem like they are trying to find Alu out, and it seems like only a matter of time before they discover him.
Oh, it's after time, isn't it? Smoke has forced away Karrigan, but they may have to push out into him. He's on 13 kills at the moment, and it's coming head-to-head with Snappy, who takes his head clean off. Brokey gets one in return. A weakened Spinks has to pull the plug and get out of there, but the player advantage is in favor of ENCE, and now the grenade's starting to rain onto the site. Molly's to the top of train, forcing away some of these angles. There's still 50 seconds to play with. That flick from Brokey is a thing of beauty, and he may not be done just yet. No players of Ivy, but there's no way of him knowing that. And so he has to be cognizant. He has to do his due diligence before he flicks in for another one. And Snappy, his next victim. He is a predator stalking this round. 30 seconds to play with, flash up and over, and a low Spinks has to try and somehow carve a path through the end of this round. Spinks now coming in.
Heavily in favor of FaZe, and you feel like a pistol round victory might be one of the final nails in the coffin for ENCE here on this map. So we are going to see some challenges go over towards Ivy.
2-for-1 trade. FaZe do take the advantage, and that hammer in the hands of Karrigan, as he is the puppet master right now, and he's pulling all the strings, and he's also pulling out a great performance for himself, by the way. Leading by example. Spinks, excellent headshot onto coldzera, gives them a chance into the round. They still have control over the bomb, though, FaZe, and they're looking to try and spill out onto A.
Yeah, it seems like that is the final destination here, as Twist is getting backstabbed, though, but he flicks the 180 for a dink onto D-How, forcing him into the back calls. Twist trades up to the USP, and now they start spilling out onto the site. Snappy being challenged over here in the back. Twist will finish him off. Karrigan finds D-How, and now it's all on Spinks.
Already one kill to his name, and he's put a second in as well. Both players are very low. Brokey's on 1 HP and Twist's on 59. Now, ammunition may start to be a bit of a problem. Only 14 bullets left, putting them down, and nearly flicks to the head of Twists. But
deal.
And this has been a far cry from their performances against the likes of Vitality. It's been a bit of a dud so far, I think it's safe to say. Twist, though, is just going to put this off as fast as possible. Administer the mercy across to ENCE, who are floating away into the nether. It's all on Dotto, with a scout in hand, and as much as he's doing damage and landing some frags, it feels like just a drop in the bucket, and they will be doused down fully. FaZe consider 100 damage just by itself. Softens up so many of these Ts, and now they can be pivoted into. Spinks posted the back of the site, already with one, and putting that aim to use for two. Runs out of ammunition, should be going down, but Snappy has his back covered, and the damage has been done. It's a close-out round with
over to the ENCE side. They're also getting aggressive in the apartment, so they're getting a lot of map right now.
Yeah, tons of information. You can hear the footsteps just below them, but Alu peeks out, gets tagged down to 50. They've already taken down Spinks. Add Snappy into the mix, and the B site's fallen. The only reprieve that ENCE have is the bomb's been dropped down towards the T side of the steps. They need to go get that, but that's going to be a reprieve for only a few seconds. D has already bridged the gap somewhat with his MP9, but what an awful start to the round for ENCE.
Yeah, but Twist is going to, you know, cause some presence over here towards the middle, so they're never really going to know for sure where this bomb is headed. Even FaZe is still kind of figuring out exactly where they want to commit it. Twist is going to slide out, spots the closet player, gets that kill. D-How able to find his man, but now FaZe know where they can bring this bomb and just work together. They know that there was at most one at A. They find it, bomb will go down, and so FaZe is going to give us a very kind of deja vu feeling to how Train played out, with kind of that 1-1 scramble at the start, rather than some type of team, you know, kind of
douse in the mix with no utility really to speak of, and no kits either. Twist with the FAMAS just runs straight out and peels back 2 heads, and it's a third on top of it, and the blink of an eye, the snap of the fingers, Twist has taken the site, and ENCE are forced to save again.
Yeah, big old Thanos play there from Twist. They are gonzo after that thumb and middle finger connect and swipe through. And so, I mean, doesn't everyone stab with their thumb and middle finger? I had to second guess myself there. I would think so, right?
Yeah, I do it. Middle finger and thumb, sure.
I guess you could feasibly do it with your ring finger and your thumb, but that would be weird. All right, just making sure I wasn't crazy. Every now and then you got to give yourself a little bit of a reality check on your sanity levels, and I'm glad you were able to help me through that one, Vince, as you always have throughout the years.
You're very welcome, Dust. I'm glad that I could be useful
Much
sometimes.
More ways than one.
Oh, Snappy. Plug and Twist down to 1 HP. Still stands tall enough to deliver the frag onto Spinks. And let's be honest, pretty grim. No two ways about it. That stat has to change to double nades. The nuke has landed in his Brokey. And he gets eradicated. Good mollies also tossed in for good measure, keeps the T's back, but they've also thrown in counter mollies to allow them the passage to top banana. Additionally, Twist has put down Dotto over on the A side, so even though they get that pick, it's very short-lived.
And that's deep in A territory is the other thing. So now ENCE have no clue what's going on over at middle. They're trying to kind of keep an eye on it with Alu's AWP. And Spinks has that boosted position and does find his man before going down, but now they know where he is. They have him isolated. A great flash comes in, but Rain through it anyway finds Spinks.
It's not... Well, I was going to say last line of defense, but he has now been taken down as Rain puts the sledgehammer to use. Host plant comes into effect. Alu hasn't really been given any chances in this round, but they're still up close. And with their economy, with the situation as grim as it currently stands, they may feel compelled to try and go in. Desperation may be creeping in for the Finns and the pole. As Alu is now all alone. Last man and ride it out, but this has been an incredibly rough start as FaZe looking to get aggressive again, this time into apps. There was a smoke tossed in a HE, but it's negligible damage at best, and they don't necessarily have a huge amount of utility behind it. Snappy's been picked off as well, which just adds to the woes.
Yeah, it's picks on opposite ends of the map almost simultaneously. It's forcing ENCE to really scramble as they're very spread thin. They still don't really know what the focus is for FaZe. They do still kind of have Spinks in a forward position over towards the cart here at Banana. And he does get the kill onto Brokey, so that alleviates some pressure towards this B side. But in the meantime, you have Rain wrapping up Archway, and you can even get this pinch off on Spinks over towards Construction. Bomb still left behind bottom B, but they can easily be reclaimed by Cold Zero, who's in Boiler. And so it's really going to come down to what Rain wants to do and what he can find.
Oh, it feels like Alu's completely screwed unless timing gets the better of Rain, which it won't. You know, splatters Alu from behind. Diha now does at least get one in return, and it does definitely give him a chance, a fighting chance, but his teammate's not moved yet. They're not even sure as to whether this is a B or an A hit, so Diha's all alone. He just catches a glimpse of the player pushing into pit and takes his head off, and now Diha has every chance of clutching this round out, but he has been suppressed by Carrigan. 1-on-1, and Spinks is still on the B side. It's going to take him ages to get across.
That's just the impact of Rain having that archway position for so long. It really forced ENCE to have to hold their ground on both ends, and it gives Kerrigan a chance in the 1v1.
The timing may work against him because Spinks took so long. Kerrigan started to doubt himself. He started to think and wonder if maybe mid was being pushed in or apps. Very unfortunate timing, but so important for ENCE.
Absolutely. You have to give huge props to D-How inside the pit, getting those 2 kills, catching Rain at Arch after he stamped out Alu, finding the first kill over towards pit without
their way back around. Another smoke has now been tossed in, but Twist position is so powerful, and he finishes off what Rain started down middle in that opening trade. There are still 2 players on the A side, including D-Ha, who's just hit a vein of form. But he's going to be called upon multiple more times, and Kerrigan is actually wrapping around the back of B in amongst all of this action and chaos, and maybe try and deal with any rotational player. In doing so, it allows the Sanctuary of FaZe to rotate the bomb all the way across to B, and Snappy only has a UMP to his side. He has to try and hold this all alone. 13 seconds to play with, though. If he can pull out the rabbit out of the hat and just spray down a couple players, it could be good enough as he's looking to go for that wide swing. 5 seconds to play with, but Brokey is checking his angles, and even though D-Ha has splatted Brokey afterwards, the bomb gets planted down, and a 3-on-2 comes up with Otto on exceptionally low HP. Surely ENCE are about to succumb again, and there's a flank player coming around the back as well, by the way. coldzera is making moves all the way around CT side. They need kills right now. If ENCE are going to have any chance at clutching this, D-Ha or Dotto have got to go massive. They're missing too many bullets, and they're both going to get costed as a result down. And FaZe
chalk up an 11th round for FaZe, and ENCE staying at 2 because their economy is absolutely in tatters, and Brokey's already taken 1 op off the board. Snappy tucked into the corner at the sandbags, trying to hold his ground. He's good for 1, but that's going to be all, and that's not good enough as FaZe are just tearing ENCE apart all across the map, Vince.
It feels like ENCE are out of ideas. Like, this just seems like a team that has run out of steam. They can't keep the pace with FaZe. They're just being, as you said, outmaneuvered at every...
plowed.
Yeah, I'm completely on board. You know, again, we're not looking at a game where it's 11-2, but there's been a bunch of 1v1, 2v2s. Like, this has been a bloodbath. It's been a massacre, and FaZe have not dropped off at all from train. I'm thinking, can they keep up that pace? Absolutely can, and they have. And on the T side of Inferno.
All right, so D-How has a little bit of a tricky angle here that FaZe haven't faced yet. So, and they have a player under porch as well. So if FaZe commit to middle, this might be a little bit tough.
Hopefully ENCE can get it done, but of course they check the angles. There's a perfect flashbang tossed out there. There was no secondary player playing anti-flash and a Molotov alongside it, so D-Ha was just dangled on the end of a rod, and Twists goes fishing. 3 times in the round, headshots delivered, first class. He's up to 18 frags already, and we haven't even finished the first half.
I swear I haven't seen Twist miss a shot yet. It just seems like every time he comes out, when we're watching the other players' POV, they're dead in the blink of an eye. They never really get a chance to pull the trigger. Twitch just been so clean. He might even ace this round. No, Snappy will not allow that, but who cares at this point, really? FaZe are just dominating the scoreboard here. Snappy trying just to save this M4 over towards construction area. And even if you were, it's just such a small victory.
It's also mind-blowing that you look at FaZe, and for the longest time, Brokey was considered like one of those fantastic, unreviled players that just came out of nowhere and was just an absolute... He's not even been required this game. He's 8 kills. Like, he doesn't need to do anything. Kerrigan, straight up, gets the entry, instantly retorted on, but that's still going to favor FaZe.
Yeah, absolutely. There is some banana control there here from ENCE, as we do see Spinks getting very aggressive with the MP9, so that could be a huge factor in their favor. He does take Brokey down. Twist actually only good for 1 this time around, which has been a rarity. And so hold the phone. There is a chance for ENCE in this final round to half, though. Cold has to find 1-1.
ENCE have got to have a flawless comeback if they want any hope of pulling this one off, and it is going to be pushing straight towards the A site. Brokey is waiting. Nades are put down with a ton of bullets behind them, and now they want to put this one down real quick. To be devil's advocate, though, if they do concede this, they've put a lot of money into the round, so maybe there's a way back forward. But of course, Brokey shows that the triple up setup can't be very much a success as he picks up the first play. It's going to be Dha. Lack of utility
Vince.
as they look to try and push onto the site, and Dotto's been finished off next, and Brokey goes in again. The House of Cards is coming down, trying to get the no-scope at the end, being cheeky, but Alu is being overwhelmed. There's players behind him, in front of him, and at least he gets a kill. He's about to get fragged by Karragan, or perhaps not. Alu's still in with a chance in this round. He's being pushed down from another player down towards middle, who may get the drop on him, and there is coldzera. That's going to be